That claim is startling. Tencent fires back at Sony lawsuit accusing it of cloning Horizon with Light of Motirum. Chris Scullion, VGC. Hey, it's the Onigino, and this is Talk Now, Think Later. Let's look at the freaking news with our new doggy, Mochi, who's very interested in gaming news. Alrighty. Tencent accuses Sony of an improper attempt to fence off a well-trodden corner of popular culture. Tencent has responded to a Sony lawsuit which accuses its upcoming game Light of Motirum of being a slavish clone of the Horizon series. In July, Sony filed a lawsuit in California federal court alleging copyright and trademark infringement and claiming that Light of Motirum is so close to Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West that players could be confused into thinking it's part of the same series. The suit also alleges that after starting work on Light of Motirum, Tencent then asked Sony if it wanted to collaborate on a new Horizon game, to which Sony declined. Sony claims that Tencent went ahead and made a Horizon-like game anyway. So Tencent has now responded to Sony's lawsuit, calling the claims startling and accusing Sony of trying to monopolize a part of popular culture when, in Tencent's view, Horizon wasn't particularly original in the first place. Ooh. As reported by the Game Post, Tencent's response suggests that by trying to sue it for Light of Motirum, Sony is failing to acknowledge that other games feature similar concepts. Sony's complaint tellingly ignores these facts it claims. Instead, it tries to transform ubiquitous genre ingredients into proprietary assets. By suing over an unreleased project that merely employs the same time-honored tropes embraced by scores of other games released both before and after Horizon, like Enslaved, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Far Cry Primal, Far Cry New Dawn, Outer Wilds, Biomutant, and many more, Sony seeks an impermissible monopoly on genre conventions. Okay, these are great screenshots though. All right. So the company claims that Sony lawsuit is not aimed at fighting off piracy, plagiarism, or any genuine threat to intellectual property, but is instead an improper attempt to fence off a well-trodden corner of popular culture and declare it Sony's exclusive domain. Tencent also alleges that Sony already knew Horizon wasn't an original idea when it was in development, citing a documentary in which Horizon Zero Dawn art director Jan Bort Van Beek reportedly says there were concerns during the planning that the game was too similar to Bandai Namco's 2013 game Enslaved: Odyssey to the West. Sony shelved the project only to revive it later with full awareness that the idea was far from novel, Tencent claims. When Horizon Zero Dawn finally launched in 2017, the gaming community noted its striking resemblance to Enslaved and other genre staples. Sony's initial lawsuit claims that Light of Motirum use of a young red-headed female protagonist and tribal groups fighting for survival among large robotic animals in a post-apocalyptic world results in a project that has willfully infringed registered Horizon copyrights as well as the Aloy character trademark. Light of Motirum is developed by Polaris Quest, a subsidiary of Tencent. The game is described as an open-world adventure set in a land where human civilization has ceased to exist. This world is inhabited by mechanical animals known as Mechanimals, including a large gorilla, deer, and bull. Yes, Light of Motirum is very original. They were very courageous to call these things Mechanimals. Yeah, it's really all this copyright stuff is really tough. You know, I on one hand I understand, like, you know, one party thinks of a, you know, like develops an idea, right? Like they develop it from the ground up. They really put their time, effort, love, heart, whatever, money in it, you know, and then they make something great. They make something that people absolutely love. And then some other guy copies it, you know, dresses it differently, but kind of dresses it in a very, I guess, like not elegant. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm looking for something like, there's so much effort in dressing it up. There's like so much work to do. There's so much money to do it, and then like, you know, you have these two AAA looking, you know, dolls that kind of look the same, right? Like these two products that kind of look the same. And when is it plagiarism at this point? Because like for books and for, you know, anything that is like speech based and, you know, story based and stuff like that, it's very easy for us to like point out the fact that, like, you know, is it paraphrasing or is it absolutely just like stolen content because it's literally a copy and paste? But in this case, you know, Light of Motirum, did they absolutely use the, you know, back end of Horizon? Did they use like the story of Horizon? Did they use like, you know, I guess like the defining aspects of Verizon Horizon? I mean, you could say that like what Sony's saying here with a simple statement of, yeah, it's in a post-apocalyptic world with tribes and then with mechanical animals. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it just it's kind of like Star Wars, right? To a certain degree, right? Like, is R2-D2 an animal? You can call R2-D2 an animal because, like, you know, you can call Luke an animal. You can call Leia an animal. So C-3PO is an animal. Jar Jar's an animal. Yoda is an animal, probably. So this is just like, and there's also another part of this, right? Another part of this that, like, I'm trying to be like fair here and not like, you know, okay, I'm just gonna let it out. Like, we know that sometimes Chinese products have very, very similar experiences, naming, you know, sometimes even code, you know, for products, you know, that they develop. And I guess you could also think of it that way from Sony's perspective, right? So it's tricky, it's messy, but really I think it's like what we want to see here is almost, we want to see a public data set of, is Light of Motirum really confusing people that it's a Horizon game? Because, like, I'm just thinking, if I'm a person who knows how to download a Horizon game, then I could probably know how to spot, like, yo, this is the game because it's more marketed and that other game just looks like this, you know? So I don't know, like, who's confused? Yeah, maybe the data shows there's confusion. And I guess just everybody likes to just have more lawsuits these days. But it's very weird that Light of Motirum, the Tencent's camp, just like kind of rallied this and countered back with this idea of you know, that Sony just wants to sue us because they want to do this proprietary like idea, but it's only a gameplay mechanic and can be seen by everything else. I mean, like the last news that I had the other week, like Pokemon patenting summoning animals or summoning friends or summoning characters, but every other game has like some idea of summons. Again, like all these definitions of differences are just so vague that, like, you know, the minutia of the technicality of how this is different from what is like different from another thing is down to how good the lawyer can describe it. And that is, to me, very sad. So remember, the indie games aren't doing this. The indie games are actually trying to make games that are not just, you know, trying to get the money out there. Maybe some of them, right? Like, but, you know, they want to make games that they want people to play. And that's it. So support your indies. Yeah, what do you think? I keep forgetting to ask that. What do you think? What do you think? That's important. This is a discussion. This is not, this is supposed to be talk now, think later. The think later is you make me think because I talked now.